Ah. All right, let me know if that works, pretty please. Okay, let's... Hey! Hi Okuni, hi Fairy Dust, hi Laura, hi Malvina, hi April, hi Jill, hi YZ, hi Fairy Dust. Did I said hi already? Hey Fanny, hi! Hi Bugs of Paint. Trying the White Nights watercolors for the first try. Ooh, yes. And you can hear me fine? Okay, the next test is gonna be to see if if the video works out in the streaming software I'm using. Okay, sound is good. Yay! Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Okay. Hi, Maureen. Ten 4 on the... Okay, let me just click through this video. Just let me know if you can hear the video that is on screen right now. Okay, so I'm gonna play a random bit of it and let me know in the chat.
I think the thing to understand about the genuine colors, they're genuine in that I use the massive.
Okay. Hey, salut Scott. Salut mon gros minet. Ah, awesome. Yes, that was the issue last time. And I couldn't remember how I had fixed it. So I was like, oh no. How can I Qu'est-ce que tu fais, Scott? Meow. T'es pas contente? Not happy? Minette. C'est bon? Es-tu prête à... Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Go? Should I stay or should I go? T'es un chat, tu sais pas? Mais ça, hein. Should I stay or should I go? Tu vas-tu? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Salut, ben oui. Grosse minette. Non, t'auras pas ma chaise. Cat problems. Okay. Let me reset the video. So basically what I want to do today is talk a bit more about the Primatek colors and the sort of the nature of the issue in a way. Hey Phoebe, hi! And also I was looking into the Primatek videos and I found a snippet, like just a tiny 2-minute segment of a video that was really confusing to me. So there are 2 things that I want to check out today. I want to check out the a couple of the claims or the information that was put out about the Primatek colors during one of Daniel Smith's live stream. When I say Daniel Smith, I mean the company. I don't think there's anyone named Daniel Smith at the company anymore. But anyway, so yeah, there's a few. I took a bunch of notes and I did some research because when I decided to make a YouTube channel, my goal was to look into things and have stuff that is about information mostly. So I always kind of feel a bit odd when I see stuff that is promoted or put out that has weird infos, or sometimes things that confuse me at first and then I do research and then I realize that it's not exactly accurate, really. So basically, let's take a look at this, the sort of the Primatek stuff. I mean, if you guys are like, ugh, no, not the Primatek stuff, we're so fed up with it, I can improvise. I think the part about the other little 2-minute part is not about the Primatek color per se, but it's kind of, it really confused me and I thought it was kind of funny in a way, but that's the other thing. So I got 2 videos, they're not very long. As you can see, it's written snippet 1 because I went through the videos and cut out just the parts that were sort of relevant to the Primatek talk. And yes. So let me know in the chat and I guess we're mostly ready. Indignant reflection. It's really not meant to be an attack or to start throwing tantrums and stuff around. It's really just like whenever I see stuff that I don't understand first or that makes me go, oh, I do research. So that's kind of what I did here. I was watching the video, I was like, huh? And I did research and I want to share what I found out, basically. Indignant reflection. Is that in relationship to the phantom pain thing you're talking about? Because it kind of works with my thought process sometimes. Okay. So I'll start the video and I'll pause after the first snippet and then we can talk a bit about it. Jill says, I'm down for some DS stuff. They're my local brand and I've always liked their paint, but I've been confused by the response to this entire Primatek thing. Yeah. Also, the paints are good. This is not saying that the paints are not pretty or not good. It's just reacting to the stuff. Anyway. Oh, handmade watercolors are great. Hey, Lee. Hi. All right. Let's go.
A24 pen and one of the colors inspiration ones. So Ari, I've looked at, I think, what was being said, and one of the questions was on Amazonite, I believe. I think the thing to understand about the genuine colors, they're genuine in that I use the massive. The massives aren't specimens. So when you look at a specimen, you expect a specimen to be very, very, very pure. I'm not using specimens. One, I think it'd be insane for me to wreck something so beautiful as a mineral specimen. Two, the cost of a mineral specimen is outrageous. So these are massive. This is the mineral, but it's a massive, and it's in situ. So this, for example, you can see some of these are going to have quartz. They can have other things associated with them that are around them. I'm going to use this. I'm not using mineral specimens. And it gives me the level that I want for the colors that I'm using. I'm not competing against somebody that's using mineral specimens. You can buy those from Kremer if you want. They're thousands of dollars to tens of thousands of dollars per pound. My lapis is 80% pure. I'm not going to use a mineral specimen to go to 100%. That's not what I'm doing for the art world. If that's something you want to collect as a mineral specimen to put on your desk, then I can see the money's probably well spent to do that. I'm using massives that I'm getting, so this is Amazonite, and I'm going to process every part of this. And my process is I'm going to make paint that the artist can be able to use, that's going to cause the granulation that I want it to have, and to be the color. If somebody else chooses to do something different, that's absolutely up to them. That's just not what I do.
Okay. So that was the first little segment that I sort of picked up. The person who is speaking is the owner of Daniel Smith. He said in another live stream that he is not exactly a painter. He uses the paints to do the videos, like he does swatches, but he doesn't see himself as a painter or an artist. So yeah, basically the bulk of what he says is that for the Primatek colors, he doesn't buy like just the pretty bit of the stone. He buys chunks of rocks that have the specific stone in them, but it's a chunk, so it's not just the nice part. There's gonna be some other stuff around it, like he showed. Oddly enough, I felt like the Amazonite stones that he shows is kind of more on the specimen side, unless Amazonite is always that like bulky. Like that was a really nice chunk of Amazonite personally, and if I went to a jeweler and they told me I was buying a genuine diamond, I'd be pretty hacked to find out it was just some quartz found with a diamond. So yeah, that's the thing. I don't think anyone is arguing with the fact that is like no one is saying that he should use specimen. Like I think all of us, all artists who use Primatek colors, kind of get the idea of having like the whole chunk of it. That's fine with me. That's fine with most of you, and that's not exactly like what was raised as an issue. And yeah, he says that the lapis lazuli they use is 80% pure. And I was like, okay. And then I thought about it and I was like, okay, but pure what? And also, it's a bit vague as a statement, like 80% of what? Of the whole pigment mass that's in the paint, of like, I mean, of course it's probably of the whole pigment mass, but my point is that it's not very specific in terms of language. It looks good when you hear it, like, oh, 80%, and then I was like, oh, like the paint maker in me took over and was like, okay, 80% of what? How would you, is it in the pigment, it's 80% lapis lazuli and 20% something else? Well, that's fine, and that's, I mean, I think unless you are brand new to watercolors, it's I don't think anyone really expects lapis lazuli to be blue like ultramarine. That's kind of the whole point of ultramarine. It's to have a bright blue paint that looks just like lapis lazuli, but is not gray and dull and weak. That's a good point. Fanny says, seeing it from the business side, I understand him using this thing versus the pure. But the issue is that he's selling it at a price of a pure, or not disclosing its list. The issue is that someone took a microscope to the Amazonite paint and realized that of the pigment portion of the paint, there's just a tiny amount of actual Amazonite in there. Like you can see on the microscope image, the person has pointed out with arrows which bits are the microcline structure of the Amazonite, and the rest is another thing that is not disclosed, but that really looks like a phthalopigment. So a chemically man-made pigment. Oh yeah, okay. Fairy Dust says, example, 80% of the mineral used is pure lapis. So that means that if you take the container of lapis lazuli pigment, 80% of that is actual lapis. The 20% is other stones, like pyrite, I think, is often found with lapis and stuff like that. Okay. Then, like, that's the first step. The question is, well, lapis lazuli is maybe not the best example, but then when they make the paint, if the mixture of pigment they use to make the paint is 95% ultramarine and 5% the lapis mix, that's just weird. That means that there's a much smaller percentage of the actual stone in the paint. Yeah, the Primatek paints are really expensive. Some are Series 1, so that's kind of the lowest, but lapis lazuli is one of the priciest. So it's it really depends on where you live, but it's very expensive for a 15 milliliter tube. I will as we go through the snippets, I think we will develop the issue, but yeah, so the geologists put the paint under a microscope, saw that there was only a tiny fraction of the actual mix that's in the paint that is the stone. So they wrote and they asked Daniel Smith Company, hey, I saw this, was wondering what the rest, like what's the other thing, because there is another thing, but Daniel Smith doesn't really want to answer that question. They just keep repeating that they use massive and instead of specimen, but that the paints are 100% mineral. I'm quoting here. Okay, so let's get to the second segment and
Yeah, Ari. So one of the questions being said on the web is are the Primateks 100%? They are 100% mineral. Let me put it a different way. How to best to put that? They're genuine because they're coming from the mineral. I'm using mineral massives. Mineral massives can have lots of other things in them. I'm going to use that. So when someone says, well, there's also quartz, well, there's going to be some quartz because some of these are found within quartz veins. Some of them are going to have other types of minerals in them, and that's fine for me. I'm buying a mineral massive. I'm not buying a mineral specimen. Mineral specimens, when you're a geologist, etc., that's important. It's not important for me in terms of the art world. It's using the mineral in massive form that I then process to give my artist the best Primatek that they can have. It gives the granulation and it gives the color. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. They say Primateks have pigments in them. Primateks have other materials within them. These are never going to be, these aren't pure. There's other things associated with them. So when I have lapis or I have turquoise, turquoise is from Arizona. It's found with other things, and I process those things.
Who's getting angry now? So yeah, the thing is basically repeating what he said earlier, but the part that started bothering me at that point personally is that it's not exactly the point. No one is arguing against using massives. I don't know if that's the actual word for it. It sounds just weird. But anyway, no one is arguing against using big chunks of rock rather than the fancy chunks of rocks. And no one is saying that's bad. No one is saying that's not the issue. The issue is that when someone takes a closer look at the composition of a paint like amazonite, they find amazonite in there, but they don't find just amazonite in the pigment. And he said, like, yeah, but there's binder and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, there's binder. Okay, we all know that. It's written on the tube. Hold on, I have a picture of the... Here. There you go. Like, it says pigment, genuine fuchsite, and vehicle gum arabic solution. So that's fine. That's what we assume is going to be in there because that's what's on the label. Like when you buy food, you check the label and you expect to find what's on the label in the food you bought. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I'm catching up on chat. Yeah, Fanny, you're right. It does matter. That's the whole... That's why... it's creating this kerfuffle, is that because a lot of artists were under the assumption that there was a lot of the pigment in the Primatek paint that was the actual stone. So they were sold as such and they were promoted as such, and some people made it a job to paint things featuring these specific rocks for, you know, more esoteric, French, English mix up. Anyway, like more spiritual stuff. And then when you see on the microscope that the Amazonite paint only has teeny tiny flecks of actual Amazonite in there and a lot of other green stuff, and you look on the label and you don't see mention of what the green stuff is, then it brings in this issue of like, well, what is the green stuff, and is it light fast? Is it toxic? What is it? Because I'm selling paintings with this paint and I want people to know when they buy my paintings what exactly is in there. If certain Primatek colors like rhodonite, they will change color quite remarkably. And like people until then assumed that it was the stone itself who would change color, but now there's an argument to be made that it could be whatever else is in the paint that is fading. The snippets I got are from a video that was live streamed on April 22nd of this year, 2021. Hey, Martin, hi. And I mean, if an artist that knows what they want and wants a painting 100% Amazonite, they want it without mixing. Yeah, I think that's sort of the thing. Like, chances are that the lapis lazuli is pretty much lapis lazuli, and it's not a very glamorous paint. It's not very vibrant, but it is what it is. And you could say to someone, like, this is a unique piece because the sea has been painted with this stone that was turned into a powder and then a paint, and it's fancy and it's expensive, and you know, it adds something interesting. So if you tell someone that you put Amazonite in their painting and for them it has meaning and value, but then turns out that the paint that's supposed to be made from Amazonite barely has any Amazonite in it. And also it's a bit big, because when you look at the stone Amazonite and when you look at the swatches of the paint, the swatches are so much more vibrant and logistically and logically that doesn't really make sense. When you powder something down, it usually loses the vibrancy because you mix everything up. And like if it gets massive, that's even worse, because then you have a lot of quartz and other stuff in there that gets ground up with the stone. And so you end up with a color that is even more muted. I know if that makes sense. I mean, by all means, ask question in the chat. I will try to answer. The chat can help. And you can also like just write question, comma in your question if you want to make it easier for me to spot in the chat. But yeah. And that's the issue. That's the whole beef of this issue, is that the people who use the paint are like, okay, I love the paint, but please tell me what else is in there, because it's a paint I use. And like, what's the other stuff? Is it a toxic pigment? Is it a light fast pigment? It's like any other paint we have. You kind of want to know what you use, because it's gonna affect how you use it, right? Yes, I've seen malachite watercolors and they look so pale and pretty. Exactly. If you look, well, you know of the Romanschmal range, right? Romanschmal has released malachite, glauconite, vivianite, and lapis lazuli, and they are really they are pale color. They are weak, but not in a bad way. They don't punch you in the face with their vibrancy. They're really muted and nice and soft colors. Soft is the word I was looking for. And there's a market for that. I would much rather have a paint that is the mineral and that is the color of those. And like the malachite, yes, it's really soft. Fine, I will deal with it. If I want a stronger color, I will look for it elsewhere. And that's the whole sort of issue, is that when you compare paints that are made from the actual like specimens or massives, like just massives, and you see that it's not exactly the same color as the Primatek. And that raises a whole bunch of questions, like the amethyst. It's a lovely color. It's a really nice sparkly purple. But when you look at amethysts, especially in geodes, of course there's a bunch of stuff. There's also a great part of the crystal that is translucent. So if you grind all of this to dust, you're not going to end up with a color that is as vibrant as the Primatek amethyst color. And that was a question that was raised before by many people, but no one had the resources or the equipment to do the tests until this person, this geologist, Dr. Ruth Sidall, she did the test under the microscope, and then she saw that there was other stuff in there, and she was like, huh, well, what is this other stuff? And Daniel Smith went, nope. So, panic, nope. And that's not really the sort of reaction that a bunch of us wanted. Okay, so that's the ramble. Is there anything else I want to mention? Somewhere in the segment number 2, the snippet, because I took notes of every snippet too of things that were mentioned in there, and he said that he wants to make the best Primatek paints, and that using massives, using the stones gives the granulation and gives the color. And I can sort of picture granulation coming from the stone part of the pigment, but color, I thought that was a bit on the nose. Like, there's really something odd going on with the colors. They're pretty colors. No one in this whole issue has said that the colors are not pretty. I know I've seen it come up as an argument for people who want to defend Daniel Smith, saying like, the color is pretty, I want to use it anyway. I'm like, fine, go ahead. No one's saying you can't. What the people are saying is that, can we please have labels that list accurately what's in the paint? It's not even about lowering the price or anything else. It's just like, can I make a good informed choice when I buy this paint, pretty please? Okay, in your opinion, how or can... Oh, I don't think this has had much of an impact, to be honest. It has had an impact in our community because like, we tend to be a group of people that is interested in information and accuracy and all the sort of the fun science behind the paints and all that. So I think that for us, it's a really big mistake to not have all the pigments listed on a tube. But I think that for a really big chunk of Daniel Smith's customer base, they don't care about this stuff one bit. Maybe you should have said, these colors are inspired on these minerals using part of them. Exactly, Fanny. Like, that's exactly another point that was raised up. Like, I think it would have been perfectly fine to have the Primatek range be like about paints that are inspired by those minerals and that contain some of the mineral in there. It's just the fact that it's a lie. It's obviously a lie. We saw the pictures under the microscope and it's not true. So what do you want to do about that, Daniel Smith? And Daniel Smith as a company decided to do nothing about it. And it's a bit frustrating. There's the dude, I think his name is Bruce, maybe, I don't remember. But yeah, the person who wrote Handprint, the website, Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, has also raised that point many years ago, months ago. One can be a very good artist and not a pigment. That's that's so true. Yeah, it's definitely, like, I've seen professional artists with reputation and all that not know what series were on a tube. They thought it was more in reference to the concentration of pigment in the tube rather than the price point. I was like, oh, okay. That's something. Hold on, I'm gonna grab a drink. Thankfully, the reverse is also true. One doesn't have to be a great artist to get into the pigment. Oh, there's no barrier. Like, if you are curious about how your tools are made, that makes all the pigment info really interesting. Lindsay approaches the paints based on a well-informed consumer point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have one last tiny ramble and then we can move on to the next snippet I have. But as I was looking at this content from Daniel Smith on their Facebook page, like, I don't think there's any malicious intent in there, but like I said, the owner of Daniel Smith has said a couple of times that he's not really an artist per se. He's not a painter. So I was wondering if all this sort of wrong info and this sort of issue we're having comes from a place of having all this knowledge about how paints are made, about all the components, about the process, but not necessarily the artist's experience to put all that info in context. Like, we paint a lot, all of us, we paint. So when we paint with a color like amethyst or amazonite, we look at the color and we look at the stone, and when you know how pigments are made, how paints are made, you look at all that, and it's really a logical sort of sequence to think that there's something weird with how vibrant the paint is when you look at the source material. And then you can think, how? So I feel like this guy has all this knowledge, but doesn't really know how to attach it to the concrete stuff, the actual, like, stuff. So that gives us this situation where he's really obstinate about using massives, when that was never really the issue raised. Like, the person didn't put the paint under a microscope and say, oh, I see amazonite, but I also see quartz in there. What's up with that? The person said, oh, I see amazonite, I see a few other things, and I also see this really even man-made pigment. What is it? So, yeah. So anyway, that was my sort of thought process. I will play the snippet number 3.
Yeah, I brought some of them. So here's this is hematite. You see, hematite's going to have other things associated with it. That doesn't matter to me. I'm still going to process this into pigment and make hematite from it. And then garnets. Garnets are pretty. The massives are pretty pure just by themselves in nature. There's not you can see a little bit of stuff on them. Again, it's not really going to bother me in my processing, make it into paint. The artist, I think, is going to be very happy with. It's going to be a nice orange color to it. If I put a light on this, you'd see that.
All right, not much more to add about this one, honestly. I think it's just more of the same. Like, oh, but I use massive, and with the massives, the big, I don't know why I don't like saying massive, it's so weird, but with those big chunks of rocks, look at all this other stuff that's there too, and I don't remove the other stuff, I just grind everything up into a powder, and yeah, sure, okay, cool. But not the issue. That's not the problem that we sort of are wondering about, really. The spin doctor also raised those questions to them, and they stopped talking to him. Not exactly surprised. I follow a few pigment maker who don't paint at all. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, pigments, I mean, pigments are used for a bunch of things. The pigments we get in the sort of paint world come a lot from the automotive industry, but pigments are used to, you can color like stuff like violins, like instruments, and dyes are also used. And there's really a bunch of stuff to do with pigments. So it's pretty interesting to see that some people enjoy the crafting of the pigment, but don't really use it as paint. That's pretty cool. Hey, Ellen! Hi! So a big part of the issue was she didn't see Amazonite. I would have to check again. I thought she saw like teeny tiny micro bits of it. But I would have to check again. Like on the photo, she made arrows. I thought the arrows were pointing to like tiny bits of Amazonite, but if they're not, that's sort of even sadder. I just hear excuses. Haha, in my country, if the price is so much and the labels are wrong, you go to the consumer bureau. Yeah. I think that's sort of what happens in a lot of places. That's why everybody's so confused on this. And it's not... Is it really... Like, let me know, guys. Hey, Otto! Hi! Happy to see you, as always. Hold on, yeah. What did I miss? You didn't miss much. Basically, Mr. Daniel Smith was... It's sort of harping on about how he uses big chunks of rocks and not pure specimen, and that's why the paints are not 100% pure specimen rock, but that they have like quartz and other stuff in the paints, and he is sort of just insisting on the fact that he's missing the point about the question that was raised. And yeah, like, it's a super easy thing to fix. Basically, it just has to do new labels that says, well, it doesn't even say what Primatek is on the label, so it doesn't really have to care about that side of it, but to sort of promote the Primatek range as inspired by like stones, and then have the pigment list be honest. Like, yes, there is genuine fuchsite in, like, if we take the label that's on screen, but there's also a bit of tallow pigment. I don't know what's in fuchsite. I'm just sort of improvising, but yeah, just to list what is actually in the freaking tube. Oh yes, those naturally occurring phthalo greens. Yeah, I did some research on that, and it was super fascinating. But basically, let me find my notes. Yeah, there is sort of two sorts of pigments, organic and inorganic. And basically, hold on, was that the... Yeah, the organic pigments are the ones that are often really bright, really vibrant. And most of them nowadays are made in labs. So, like, looking at you, phthalo green, you don't strike me as the type of pigment that would happen outside of a lab, you know? Sorry about the leaf noises. Paper noises, okay. In this final image, I have placed arrows next to the mineral particles. At least one of these is quartz, and the others are feldspars, although none of them are obviously microcline. Oh, okay. That's even more sad than I thought. Oh. How much does it cost to get pigments tested? That's a good question. But as a company, they should really bother about this stuff. Like, if they can pay a few chemists and have a geologist on staff, they could probably invest in a microscope, you know. Look at this beautifully natural phthalo green flower. Sorry. Yeah, it's the way, like, Daniel Smith really didn't react well in with the whole situation. Instead of going like, oh, interesting, let us look into this and we will write back on this at a later date when we have more info. They just, like, fell to the floor, started crying and yelling. And seriously, this, oh, poor guy. I don't think that's his fault. Like, I've been in situation and jobs where there's a chance that he's just doing what he's told to do. and yeah, sometimes you get into something with really good intentions, and the person above you is like, nope, and you go just have to do what you're told to do. Yeah, what we call organic pigments nowadays has nothing to do with origin, but with carbon-containing molecule. Yeah, that's what I saw in my research, and I thought that was super interesting. So organic pigments, like if you think organic, you think, oh, it's got to come from plants and stuff, but it's just way more microscopic than that. It's pigments that are, let me get the quote so I don't say stupid stuff. It is based on carbon chains and rings, which makes them highly stable. I have notes. Okay, let's look at the next snippet. What's the next one about? Hold on, let me check if it's gonna be more. Oh, this one is interesting. Okay, this one is quite an interesting one. Okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3.
So I think one of the questions is are the Primateks made with genuine minerals? They're definitely made with genuine minerals. Am I going to tell you my process of how I make them? No, I'm not going to do that. It really comes down for you as an artist. I have great respect for all of you as artists, and you need to make a choice of whether you're going to buy something or not buy it. I know my process. Those that have been through see the process that I've used. I think what I've read from the person that put the thing up is definitely there's the minerals there. Past that, I don't see X-ray diffraction being used, which we use, and I'm not going to go into that. It really comes down to I know what I do, I know how I make it, and you can choose to purchase it or not purchase it. You have the power as the consumer, and I respect that. So I can tell you every one of the colors contains mineral. It does not contain specimen. So even my lapis, it's 80% pure. It's not 100% pure. I'm not going to spend the amount of money to go to 100% pure. The amount of money would be outrageous. It's not something that you would buy as an artist. And in terms of my process, I'm not going to go over how I make things. Well, I don't know who that. So I don't want to get into a debate here on this site, and I don't know who the others are. I mean, I have my own geologist on staff. I have my own chemist on staff, several chemists. So I don't know who the people are. And again, it comes down to choice. I don't want to be a banter of he said, she said. I do not use mineral specimens. I use mineral massives. Mineral massives have other things inside of them, and that's just the way it is.
Ouch. Hold on, I'm switching drinks. I went from a coffee to a matcha, so. Okay, so if you guys want me to sort of replay parts of a snippet, you can also say. So this one had a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if I got everything in my notes, but yeah, it's hurt. Also, quick parenthesis: the poor brush on there. I really had to make an effort not to focus on the brush because he had just used walnut ink with it, and I don't think he rinsed it off after. And I was really like looking at the brush, and I was like, you have to rinse it, you have to rinse it, you have to rinse it. It's a detail, but it's just, sometimes you realize that you have some really ingrained painting behaviors, and that was one of the moments I was like, oh. Ellen says, ever notice how most diminishing statements start with I have great respect for the person you're about to insult. Yeah, that's a part that I want to talk about a bit, because he says, I have great respect for the painters and the consumer, and you have power as the consumer, and I respect that. But I'm like, no, you don't, because many consumers are asking you to be more transparent about what's in the paints, because the reasons are really valid. Like, you want to know if the colors are toxic, if they're light fast. Those are really valid points from an artist's point of view. And yeah, that's the sort of like, no, but you say you respect the power of the consumer, but not really. You put more value into your own power as a company owner. Oh my gosh, Okuni, I cannot read that out loud. Oh. Walnut ink is my worst smelling. Oh, really? It stings. Huh. I didn't know that. Yeah, is that the part where he says... Oh, it's the next snippet. The next snippet has a really good bit that I was like, oh. Oof. that's a bit over the top, but next snippet. Hi, Mikey. And yeah, so let me check my notes. Okay, so the question was, are Primatek made with genuine minerals? Definitely. It says that his process, he's not going to tell us about it, that it's sort of a secret. And that it is the choice of the artist whether to buy the paints or not. So, okay. Well, if you're aware of that point, I hope you won't be too surprised that a lot of people, maybe a lot of voicey people, are gonna sort of, well, a lot of noisy people are gonna voice that opinion. Anyway, it says every one of the colors contains mineral. And no one said they didn't. That's the whole sort of, like, that's the part that feels like hitting one's head against the wall repeatedly. It's like, no one said they did not. That's not the point of contention, the argument, whatever. Like, yes, there is mineral in the paints. How much? In terms of what else is there? I don't really care if their lapis lazuli only have like a teeny tiny amount of actual lapis lazuli massive ground in there. Not the issue. I just want to know what else is there. Because if you tell me that you put some dyes in there to get the color and those are gonna fade, yeah, that brings certain consideration to the artist who doesn't want to sell a painting that has colors that will fade. You tell someone that the painting is made from colors that will hold the test of time, and then they don't. I mean, I bet you're glad you got rid of your... Well, I'm glad I send them to you regardless. I think the timing is kind of funny, but it's just a coincidence. Also, what it did, though, is that the next box of leftover colors you might get is probably going to be bigger than I thought it was. Like, I was telling myself that I might hold on to my Primatek a bit, but I think I'm going to send all of it to you, just like the whole thing. I don't think they have an artist in residence on staff. I don't know for sure, but in the live stream, he interacted a lot with a few other artists that were in the chat, and he gave them as reference for artistic stuff because, like I said, Mr. Daniel Smith, not John Cogley, the owner of Daniel Smith. In my notes, I call him Dude Smith, just as a as a way to know what I mean. But anyway, the owner of Daniel Smith said that he's not a painter. He might want to be one day, but he doesn't really do that right now. I think he comes from an IT background. Oh no, you're gonna send me more DS paints than planned? However will I live? Oh, I don't know. I just hope he'll be able to use them. That's the only thing I hope this old sort of kerfuffle is not dampening your love for the paints. What is he if he's not a painter and he's not a paint maker? I think he's just someone who bought the business. I think he likes the sort of the marketing and the business side of things. That's sort of the feeling I got from watching a couple of lives. And I think that part really interests him. And I think he likes doing the live stream he does where he showcases the products they have. But I don't think he has reached the mindset of the actual artist point of view of being really worried about transparency and light fastness and stuff. Hold on, I gotta... Okay, sorry. You know I will use them. I'm not going to stop using Daniel Smith paint as much as I'm sure a lot of people want me to. Are you referring to that weird message you got? That doesn't mean I am not against how they do it. Yeah, okay. Awesome! That means I can sort of give you all my paints and you can use them. And also an advantage of you getting all my paints is that you won't have to buy any more for a bit. I think you'll be set for a couple of months at least. Okay, please. Okay, I will finish the last snippet. It's not a very long one. I think it's the shortest one. And then I have also a setup where I can doodle a bit and we can sort of visualize the issue. But I think you guys look like you mostly get it. So I don't know how useful that would be, but... Hey, Dominic, hi! Okay, I'll play the last snippet of this video.
So the package is not lying. I'm sorry you see it that way. I mean, you can see it any way you want. The package is not lying. The package says it's genuine. It is genuine. It does have the genuine mineral. So there's no lie there. I don't think the person that did the test said it wasn't there. It is there. And she can say whatever she wants, or he, whatever they want. As a manufacturer, I know what's inside of it. I just think if you understand how minerals are processed, you know, there's always other things that are part of the mineral process. It doesn't say 100% lapis. I think I've said for years, it's 80%, not 100%. You want. It's genuine because I use the genuine mineral. Past that, you know, I'm not going to tell you my process. So I don't think that's unreasonable. Yes, I know, and there's things I don't think as a manufacturer that any manufacturer shares. I'm not going to share my process. I share a lot. I think I'm very good at sharing quite a bit of stuff. I know I am because I've had competitors copy it. So
did you guys hear that? And yeah, he's basically repeating the same thing over and over again, totally missing the point about the pigment. And yeah, you guys have noticed in the chat. Oh my god, again, this guy is not getting it. Hits head in brick wall repeatedly, definitely. So yeah, there's this little bit where he says that he's good at sharing and that his competitors copy it. And I was like, okay, hold on, let me think. And I wanted to ask you guys because like a bunch of brains is more brain power than just one brain. And I was like, when has competitors copied anything Daniel Smith did? If you're going to try to bamboozle me, at least do so well. It's an insult to our... That's the whole thing. Like, that's the thing that sort of bothers me. It's like... like the whole thing about, yeah, but paints have gum arabic, so they're not 100% pigment. And I was like, that was never even part of the question. Like, seriously? But pigment combination aren't copyrighted. Yeah, but even then, you have companies like Winsor & Newton that won't release the pigment list of their cadmium-free paints. Didn't Schmincke do a pure pigment line? No, they had this really limited special edition of 3 colors. Opalite, something, Celadonite maybe, and Lapis Lazuli. And they were low tinting strength paints. They were really temperamental. They tend to sediment a lot, so you have to stir them really well. Like, it was something, but it was special, and it was not... oh yeah, maybe Roman Schmal, Shadow Violet, Rubens Cascade Green, and Moonclaw dupes. Also, Roman Schmal is a good undersea green dupe. People dupe their unique colors. Okay, yeah, sure. I would be curious to know the chronological, like, as a follow-up, sort of the timeline of when he bought the company and when those colors came out, and like, what about the people who make dupes? That's just like out of curiosity, because I kind of like to go deep into this stuff. But yeah, it's kind of competitors copy it. It's, to me, that's a really big faux pas to say something like that, because you never really know. And it doesn't look good. To me, that's not a good look. That's not humble, and that's sort of really gosh. I don't do the, like, someone copied me thing. Just because Winsor & Newton was the first watercolor manufacturer, they can claim any of the most common colors. Yeah, they all copied Winsor & Newton, I guess. Kimberly Cricks already had a video on mixing several Primatek dupes. She got those mixes down exactly. I'd rather just do that. It also says a lot about what might be in the Primatek tubes too. Okay, so I'll bring out the doodling interface. Hold on. Okay, let's see if that works out. Yeah, it would if I had my window open. Oh, awesome! Thank you, Paulo. Paulo says, John Cogley, owner of Daniel Smith, joined the company in the IT department nearly 3 decades ago. Wow. Working his way up to president and CEO, eventually buying the company in 2008. Awesome. Cool. That's interesting. Like, imagine if coffee shops complained like this. Oh my gosh. Oh, well, that sort of brings me back to their, I love Jane Blundell, but Jane's Grey will never sit right with me. Never. Okay, so here I have a drawing software open. I just wanted to like do a bit of them. Okay, let's say this is gonna be like one of those pie chart thingies. Hand drawn, so bear with me. But let's say this is a tube paint. Okay. So let's just go with, split it in half. This part is the binder mix. Okay. So you have gum arabic, You have honey, glycerin, oxgall, water, etc. You know, all that stuff. This other half here is the pigment. Okay. So let's say that this diagram, sorry, I said Venn diagram, but I mean pie chart. My brain just... Although I want to see that painting. Yeah, preservatives. Okay, so a bunch of stuff. That's the part that part is sort of necessary. It's gonna be in all of the colors of the tube paints you buy. But okay, let's look at this part. This is the part that seems to bother people. So let's say that this is a Primatek color. What is bothering people in general is that under the microscope, if this was a Amazonite, about like all of this is the green man-made particle that we can see under the microscope. And then this tiny part here, it has a bunch of minerals, but none of them were actual bits of the Amazonite itself. It didn't have the Amazonite specific structure. So, and that's the whole issue. Like the way the Primatek colors are marketed, they sort of let you... Oh my gosh, Otto, you are way too kind with me because your handwriting is gorgeous. Mine is messy. Anyway, so yeah, so that's the thing. Like that's the whole issue. Like people are like, okay, fine, this is the mineral part. Okay, we just want to know what this is. Because is it light fast? Is it toxic? What is it? Just, am I allergic to it? You know? I have the typical teacher handwriting. Oh my gosh. So that's just the whole kerfuffle is about that. And like the most infuriating part is that Mr. Cogley doesn't sort of grasp this. And he just goes like, yeah, but I buy stones that... Hold on, I buy a great big chunk of stone. And that chunk of stone is a bit of everything, you know. You're like, okay, fine. Not the issue. Not what we are saying. Like, you can grind that up into a powder all you want. By all means. Like, that's fine. And you can put that into binder and make it a paint. Awesome, I'll use it. But if the color of this powder, of this rock, and this powder doesn't match the color of the paint, that's when we have an issue. So if it doesn't match the color of the paint, what else is in there? That's super simple to me, but Right, like a blind monkey with the pencil between my teeth. Oh my gosh, Ellen. How much watercolor would that stone make, right? Yeah, that's my issue with it, Stephen. Like, Daniel Smith went and sort of claimed a mix that is so basic It's like, oh, I mixed a yellow and a red, and I'm calling that Ev's orange. It's like, no, just don't. Heavy knows exactly what he's doing. He's not misunderstanding the question. He's deflecting and gaslighting. Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, yeah, I think, like, he's obstinately not addressing the question. Like, ain't no tallow in this field. Oh, that's such a good song, though. Oh, I love it so much, that song. Ain't no sunshine when it's gone. When she's gone. Oh, damn it. Question, has anyone ever asked what companies DS sources their minerals from? Like, that might be illuminating. They wouldn't answer, but it could be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't answer. They sort of list... they list the mines in the Primatek pamphlet, but that might not really help them all that much. Sorry. Oh, that's something else. Yeah, I really like the Michael Jackson version of the song that he did back when he was a kid. I know he's a bit of a controversial figure, but I think he grasped the issue and is giving the response his lawyer told him to say. Maybe. But it's such a bad idea. That's the part that sort of breaks my brain. It's like, you could just like correct the whole aim towards something that's a bit more, that would sort of make everyone happy. But instead, he obstinately sticks to his guns, which is a bit unnerving. Are you guys ready for the second sort of mini video I have? That one has probably the biggest chunk of fuckery in there. I'm sorry for using a mean word and a rude word, but it's 2 minutes, and those 2 minutes, like, I think I researched stuff for like 2 hours after watching these 2 minutes, because I was like, what am I even hearing? What is up with that? Okay, hold on. You guys ready? Otto is ready. Otto has popcorn. Hey, Lena! Withers was very big when it was maybe... Ooh, cool. I feel like I just came at the right time. Okay. Yeah, basically, Lana, we are talking about the Primatek nonsense, and also have a special mini video that I'm going to play right now. That is sort of mind-blowing, but yeah. Where's my... Okay.
Okay. So these two I'm going to show you are synthetics. And this...
It doesn't have any audio, does it? Oh, it does. You guys can hear it. Okay. Why can't I hear it? Okay, Caturday, let's... I keep... This software is gonna destroy my poor little brain. Okay, I'm starting it over. Sorry, guys.
Is Lunar Black and this is lunar blue. Lunar black is very, very interesting in that it's a single pigment. It's PBK11, P pigment, BK black, so pigment black number 11 is this right here. And by all accounts, it should not granulate because it's a single pigment, all the same size, all the same shape, all the same weight. But the particles are nanoparticles and they repel each other. It's very, very unique pigment. So also if you put yellow on this, for example, the black would move away from the yellow, so you'd see the yellow. It's some really neat characteristics that I showed you last time about PBK11. And then I also have here the lunar blue. Now the lunar blue uses PBK11. It uses some of the same black, and then it uses pigment blue number 15. And you see this really kind of cool granulation. So very, very interesting. They are very, very beautiful. And there's a whole family of lunar colors, which we'll go over the whole family, not today, but I'll go over the whole family with you. When we start doing families, for example, I'll walk you through the quinacridones, the pyrroles, the parylene, the cadmiums. We'll do it by family. We'll go over it. So Heather says she uses lunar black all the time. It's a very, very, very popular color. Just because it's really kind of cool characteristic. I mean, I just really love this. And again, the granulation, the reason I find it so very interesting, it's an energy that you go with it. You can't really overpower granulation. You could try, but you don't get the beautiful, this beauty that you get in here.
Bye, Fanny. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, wish happy birthday to Ale for us. Okay, so you guys heard that. I couldn't hear it. I had to watch my own video to hear the audio. I don't know how to. I'll have to fiddle with it, but okay, you can see why I sort of had to take notes and do some research, and I really wish I could hear the video on this stupid thingy. Why can't I? Why? The other one was fine. Why is this one being such a butt? I fixed it last time. Oh. So I think he really doesn't understand what granulation is, basically. Hey, Gabor, hi! Oh, okay, hold on. Just give me a sec. What's this? Oh, ho, ho. Okay, just give me a sec, guys. I'm just trying to understand why. Anyway, okay, I'll try to sort of go with it, even if I can't sort of see what's up or hear what's up. But yeah, basically, he really doesn't understand granulation, because what he says is that it is it's nanoparticles that repel each other, and that's really not how granulation works, like not at all. Hold on, I'm trying to... Yeah, so there's two ways you can sort of end up with granulation in paint. Either you have particles with heavier weight and they will settle like in the indents on the paper. Or you can also have lighter particles that will attract each other and create clumps this way. So that's the two ways you can have granulation. What he says with the nanoparticle things that repel each other, technically that would sort of give you a paint that does not granulate. Because if every single particle in there repel each other particle equally, it's not gonna granulate. It's just not. And then the other thing that was sort of absolutely mind-blowing is the bit at the beginning where it's a single pigment, so it should not granulate, because single pigments have particles all the same size, all the same shape, all the same weight. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works. Like, hey, PG7 is a single pigment, it doesn't granulate, but then you also have PB29, ultramarine blue, that granulates, and you have PBR11, the color they use in Lunar Earth, that is a brown pigment, and it also granulates. And it's another single pigment. And also he says, then he presents Lunar Blue, and it's a mix of two pigment, and I'm like, oh, well, it's not a single pigment anymore, so it shouldn't granulate, right? And it's just like, if you don't know, don't say anything. It didn't. Okay, hold on. Best bit, if you look in the description, I put the link, but one of the sites I found when I was looking into granulation to know exactly what was up, there's a page from the Daniel Smith website written by Jane Blundell. And I'm like, okay, so no research? I guess that's a thing. You're crying on the inside too. Oh no. Should I play it again for Dan to take part in the nightmare? Though I think if I play it again, I'm gonna try to do something different. Hold on. Okay, so
Okay, so these two I'm going to show you are synthetics, and this is Lunar Black, and this is Lunar Blue. Lunar Black is very, very interesting in that it's a single pigment. It's PBK11, P pigment, BK black, so pigment black number 11 is this right here. And by all accounts, it should not granulate because it's a single pigment, all the same size, all the same shape, all the same weight. But the particles are nanoparticles and they repel each other. It's very, very unique pigment. So also, if you put yellow on this, for example, the black would move away from the yellow, so you'd see the yellow. It's some really neat characteristics, and I showed you last time about PBK11. And then I also have here the Lunar Blue. Now the Lunar Blue uses PBK11. It uses some of the same black, and then it uses pigment blue number 15. And you see this really kind of cool granulation. So very, very interesting. They are very, very beautiful. And there's a whole family of lunar colors, which we'll go over the whole family, not today, but I'll go over the whole family with you. When we start doing families, for example, I'll walk you through the quinacridones, the pyrroles, the parylene, the cadmiums. We'll do it by family.
I'm pausing because he said pyrrole. And And one of the recent live stream is just about all the P-roll colors. And he keeps saying pyrrole, and I can't.
We'll go over it. So Heather says she uses lunar black all the time. It's a very, very, very popular color. Just because it's really kind of cool characteristic. I mean, I just really love this. And again, the granulation, the reason I find it so very interesting, it's an energy that you go with it. You can't really overpower granulation. You could try, but you don't get the beautiful, this beauty that you get in here.
It's done. It's over. It's look. It's no longer there. Boop, gone. That's the thing, though, Lana, is that we are not owners of a paint making company. Like the first time I heard that that you are supposed to say P-roll is when someone from Golden corrected me, and that's the kind of thing I expect. Like Golden, they work in pigment all day long, so they gotta know how to say it. And I even went and did some research online, and I think if you Google something like P-roll pronunciation, you're gonna find sources that have it as P-roll or P-roll, like accent more accent on the R. So yeah. Like I was listening to that, and I was, yeah, no, this was on the a Facebook Live. And it's the I was trying to get into the series of Facebook live streams just about the Primatek colors, and at the very beginning of the first video, there's this segment I just played about granulation. Holbein spells it payroll in their job. See, that's good. Payroll. The peer, it's like peer roll, so peer roll. Are they trying to destroy them? Well, this was an older Facebook stream then, so I guess they've sort of been working on it. But thing is that in the there's not a lot of people who watches the Facebook live streams. Yes, Otto pronounced Jaune Brillant really well, but it's written in such a sort of confusing way. How we say P-roll? No, it's P-roll. It's not pyrol, it's P-roll. But yeah, they write it like jaune, which is a French word, and then they put brilliant. So it's jaune brilliant, which is weird. In French, it's jaune brillant. Exactly, Lise. That's, hey, by the way, hi, Lise. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't mind if, like, any one of us mispronounces. We don't know any better, but that's the whole thing. We don't know any better. We don't work in this. So, like I expect like people like Golden or the owner of Daniel Smith to know that kind of stuff. Microwavy, what's that? Microwave. What? Profiterole. Oh yeah, that's a very easy to say in French, but yep. Okay, so what I wanted to do next is I would transition sort of screens and go to my desk with the camera, and I wanted to see for myself these two things that he say in the video about the granulation. He says that if he adds yellow in the black, the yellow is going to push away the pigment. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like, oh, which yellow? Like, what kind of yellow? All that. So that might be fun to sort of test. And also I wanted to play a bit with the thing he says about you can't control the granulation, because you kind of can, actually. And that's kind of what I want to experiment with, because I thought it was fun. But let me know if you guys want to see something else. If yeah, just let me know. I stopped going to a bar once because the staff corrected people on certain beer and food pronunciation very pretentiously. Oh no. I mean, I like to be corrected, but it's all in the way they do it. Like if they hand you your beer and the bar person says, hey, did you know that this is actually pronounced this way? And you can be like, oh, interesting, you know? Not like, by the way, it's this. And you're like, ugh. Oh my gosh, Lise, no. Honestly, the pronunciation, well, it's not a big issue. It was just very sort of twitch-inducing to watch a whole segment of a video, like a whole 20-minute of saying P-roll every 20 seconds. Like, I was like, it's like being like a teeny tiny shock every time, because you're like jolted and like, no, that's not exactly right. Literally no one I know calls it pure red. That's the whole point. No, that's just the thing, Christina. The pigment is named P-roll. And I think 99% of the people who use the pigment will say pyrrole, because they don't know any better and it doesn't come with a pronunciation guide. But when you look into it, it's actually P-roll. And the first sort of website I found that had the audio of how you pronounce it had it both in English and in UK English, and it's P-roll. And fine. The number of times people try to correct me on the spelling of Aurelin. Yeah, there's just like I said, it's not. I'm not gonna be like bothered if anyone in chat here says P-roll. I might do the, hey, did you know that it's actually P-roll? Like, what? What bothered me was that the dude works with paints all day long, and it hasn't been brought to his attention that it's P-roll. That's just weird. It's just odd. I mean, it doesn't say anything about anything. It's just odd that that's the case. Okay. Oh yes, that I just my talking with my feet didn't go back. We have a friend named Aurelin. Oh really? Ah, that's cool. And Hubs called him Ro. Well, that also works. I always said P-roll. Yeah, same. I mean, I have to sort of think about it sometimes not to say P-roll as well, but yeah, the person from Golden who corrected me, I thought did it right. It was like, hey, by the way, did you know that it's actually P-roll? And I was like, what? Like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's it. The dude is not really an artist or a painter, so it's just, anyway, it's a bit of a bummer. Like someone mentioned about, how's his light fastness? Oh, that's hilarious. He probably gets redder with light. Most people tend to get more red when exposed to light. Or sometimes they get more tan, that depends. But, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we were sort of talking about this on the Discord server and mentioning how it could be interesting to have someone who's actually super passionate about the paint do the live streams on Facebook. Like, the dude doesn't have to do everything. That's perfectly fine if he find other people that fit the thing better. I'm a burner. I'm a big burner. I'm a lobster. Yep. Lobster high five then. The question is whether Daniel Smith paints are student grade. They're not. They're usually rather good, right? Unless you... I could make a joke about depends on if they're series 1, but some people might sort of think we are not being quite nice. It's just a joke. I get more red. Incredible Irish lobster girl. I just had sun and I changed colors like a mood ring. Oh, same. So it only comes in one color though. I get sun eczema. Ugh. Dude, that doesn't sound nice. That sounds like even more of a painful situation. But they are transparent, so they must be weak paints. That color is Bane. Yes. Yeah, the Daniel Smith paints are really great. The colors are lovely. Like I'm in a weird situation because I didn't keep mine, but I would never say that they are bad paints to anyone who enjoys them. And if someone wants recommendation and likes those paints, go ahead. That's not the thing. Their marketing tactics, yeah, that's not a good look. Also, it's a bit weird where their marketing is at the moment with all this focus on having artist-inspired sets and colors. Like their latest color, the McCracken Gray or McCracken Black, has something like 7 pigments in there. And I'm like, okay, cool. But that's a lot. And it doesn't change anything that there's a lot of pigments in there. It just is a bit... I find it a bit confusing from the point of view of mixing these 7 colors together to get to a black when you can get to a black in 2 colors. Like, that's just the thing that I find a bit weird. It's like, why do all this extra work when you can get a good black color from mixing 2 colors that are not black pigments? So it's a tube of palette mud. Yeah, I guess. And then, oh no, I don't think I would do that, Dominic. I have kept a few quinacridone gold tubes, May and dark blue, because it's still quite unique, you know, and anthraquinone scarlet, but that's it. I kind of prefer brands that are easier to wet and that dry a bit more soft. So I'm more about Sennelier lately, and M. Graham and Schminke. How many grays? I don't know. I think Alvaro Castagnet has like 3 grays. There's Jane Grey. There's Joseph Zbukvik. I don't know how to say that. I'm really sorry. He has like 3 grays too. And then you have the new McCracken one. I'm trying to drink my matcha, but it's I think I put a bit too much matcha in there and it's really bitter. I'm like oh yes, Dominic, I would love it if they did that. Dominic says they should do what Gamblin does when they pull all the pigment dust in the air and use it for Franken pigment. Yeah, they clean up the filters, the air filters at the factory, and they collect all the mix of pigments in there and they make paint out of it. So it's always a bit different, and it's so cool. I wish there would be a watercolor for that. I think they make it an oil or maybe an acrylic, and I'm always like, give me a watercolor. I want the like everything but the kitchen sink watercolor, please. Wait, who is doing that? Softening us up for celebrity palette mods. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll be right back. I will transition. Hold on, and set it up for the painting cam. So I'll be right back. All right. Is this working? I need to catch up on chat. My other half just called Peko gross. Why? Why would you say that about her? Hey, bye Gabor, though you're probably gone, I'm sorry. Audio okay, video okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Sorry, I was catching up on chat, so what I have here is a palette. Not really. We were just talking about the Airbnb with the 3 cats. I'm so excited. I saw that you were gonna make a vlog. I'm so here for it. Yeah, I'm a bit bothered with the thing about Peko being gross. Like, how dare you? So in this palette I have a few odd colors. These 5 are the Van Gogh Dusk and Oxide Black. And this is a... funny enough, that's a Shinhan color, I think. Yeah, and I went and picked this palette up because I think that this Oxide Black is the only PBK 11 I have. I don't have my Daniel Smith one because, you know, who said that? Dan said his significant other said that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? You've been wanting to try those? Oh man, I'm gonna send you these. Like, these were part of my declutter sort of. That's why they're all in a bag with tape on it, and yeah, I had put them in there. All right, so and here I have. This is a piece of Arches cold press, so textured paper, but I also have these Strathmore Ready Cut watercolor paper in hot press. Because there was something else that was brought up when I was researching for granulation, and it was how granulation comes up better on textured paper, and I thought so too, but I did you guys remember all the tests we did with, funny enough, the Primatek colors and how the sort of texture comes across really nicely on hot press. So I have that too. And yeah. I suggest a lynch mob as punishment. Yeah, and your other half has some explaining to do. What? Oh yeah, although for sure. I didn't know you would be interested in them, but of course I will send them to you. I think like if you are open to trying anything, there's a bunch of stuff that I could send in a box to you. Okay, I will need a brush. Let's pick up a nice juicy brush. Okay, so I'll start on the cold press. Your other half doesn't like it, but don't you have two of them? Wait, that doesn't explain much. It just raises more questions then. I'm usually approving of you decluttering your like, decluttering is a weird process because sometimes you declutter stuff that you end up being like, oh, I should have kept it, I guess. I really doubt it's gonna happen with Daniel Smith. I'm not really bothered. I have like a lot of other paints that I love, and if there is really one color that I miss, it's not too complex to buy another tube, if you know what I mean. But yeah, sometimes I declutter stuff and then like months later I'm like, oh, either I don't have it anymore and I'm like, I could really use it, or I haven't necessarily tossed it yet and I'm like, whoo, grateful. So that's the PBK 11. Wait, what TS4? Usually proof of you decluttering. Oh no, should I be stacking up? If you want to, if you use it a lot, it's worth having a backup or two. You can get a really nice dark blue if you mix a color like PG7 and PV23. Like a deep purple with a super vibrant transparent green, you're gonna get a nice dark blue. So that's the color. I need to grab a yellow. I need to grab a palette with a few yellows. Oh. Roll. Yeah, OH is for other half. TS. Yeah, you'll have to get used to it. I found a really nice dark mix with PY83 and ultramarine blue. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Violet with phthalo greens and phthalo blue with magentas are really nice blues. That's true, I agree. Hold on, I need more stuff. I kind of got so bothered out that I even removed all of my pans of Daniel Smith from palettes. I was like, you bother me. I'll fish them out for the sake of this experiment. So I think it's a bit more gray than the PBK 11 from Daniel Smith. Still, it's the same pigment, so let's see. Maybe it has to be the special Daniel Smith pigment. Also, I want to try and make a really dry. That's too juicy. I'm not gonna get a dry swatch with Mimic. Feels like we're dating. No, it kind of feels like having someone in your vicinity, like a friend or a colleague, and you put up with them, and eventually you're just like, you know what? I really don't connect with this person. And when you change job, you just don't keep in contact. That's kind of how it feels. I think we were all dating Daniel Smith until the last week. Oh. I'm trying to make the least granulating patch of PBK 11 I can, just for the sake of experimenting, sorry. Because granulation is not a given. Like, if you add water to it, it's gonna sort of give more room for the pigments to settle, especially in the case of PBK 11, because for this one, what creates the granulation, I really think it's the weight of the particles. I put a link in the description. It's the link that goes to the handprint page, and it has a table. Yeah, I can word. It has a table with all this sort of relative weight of the particles, and this one, Oxide Black, is one of the heaviest. So it's not about fine particles clumping together. This one is more about heavy particles settling. So if you add water, then they can move in the water before they settle, is sort of my logic of it. It's so strange how we're very similar, but we're so different in our paintings. I think it's great. I think it's intended so that we can pool our collections and have like the biggest hoard possible. This is good. They just need to dump their stupid marketing cousin and the weird CEO uncle. You know what that reminds me of? It's like when like your uncle has a company and he goes like, yeah, and I'm gonna have a logo. I'm gonna ask cousin Bob knows Photoshop. He's gonna make me a logo. And you're like, oh my gosh, why? Like the cousin who knows Photoshop thing. I can't believe you're using student grade paints. What, Van Gogh? Van Gogh are good paints. Disc. Okay, let's try the yellow and the black thing. Let's make it super juicy. Might not work because it's not the same kind of thing that's going on with, like, it's not exactly the same kind of particle than Daniel Smith, but I'm using Nicolezo yellow from Daniel Smith. Oh wow, that's really cool. Did you see that? I'm gonna try to do it again. That's pretty cool. See, if there were more of that, the Daniel Smith live streams would be so much fun. Like with this kind of fun stuff to explore and sort of play with. Not the stuff about granulating paints being all the same pigments and whatnot. Yeah, that was pretty cool, right? I'll try to make another one, and I'll try with genuine Quin Gold, see what happens. And also have Indian Yellow from Daniel Smith, and I have other yellows in there. I have yellow Sophie we can try. And what is this one? That's yellow ochre from Holbein. Why does it do the sort of spread? I have no idea, actually. See, I wish you would have told us that. Instead of the thing about the nanoparticles repelling each other, that's not the case. I mean, maybe that's how other paints work, or I don't know. Maybe that's present somewhere else. And yeah, that's relevant to another topic, but it's not the case of watercolor, and I would have much rather know about what causes this yellow to push all the black away when I drop it in there. Like, that's super interesting. Being told for the 100th time that massives are a big chunk of rocks with impurities is not. Okay, let's try Queen Gold. Okay. That was super anticlimactic. Oh no! That was so boring. Let's do a control with the PY150 again. See, it does it more. Even if it's maybe less juicy, you kind of have this pushing away the black thing going on. Oh my gosh, Quinn Gold, what's up with you? Could it have something to do with those magnetic? That could be. That would be interesting. Oh, let's try a drop of water, like plain water in there. It doesn't react as strongly as the PY150. It's the PY150, not the PBK. Okay, Amisha, you're the one who suggested the PY150. Share your knowledge with us. What's up with that? What's nothing to do with granulation because single pinlets can't do that. Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh no. Oh yeah, we'll try the other way around. The PY150 yellow, right? PY150 does that just not just in. Oh really? Hey Soda, hi. PY150 is a bolide, pushes everything. Oh, I didn't know that. I gotta say though, PBK11 and Genuine Quinn Gold is kind of a really nice mix. It's kind of hard to... There's always yellow in your brush after using PY150, like it never goes away. Okay, let's drop it. Like, no, thank you. I don't want to. Help, I'm being bullied from the outside in. The more you know. Oh, have we actually checked if Daniel Smith is the mother company of Goop? Oh no, don't bring Goop into this. Yeah, that's like really slow. It's super interesting looking though. But it's really like fighting. PY150 is a control freak. Ah, that's super cool. It would be interesting to see if it reacts with which one? The black or the yellow? Because I have one of my favorite yellow ochres in there, I think. It's Holbein's Yellow Ochre. It's granulating a teeny tiny bit, like barely, but it's not spreading. Which black? Goop is such a hell company. Okay, so hold on. Now dip the black into the other yellow. So Quinn Gold. Let's. It's not spreading much, but it's sort of a bit faster. That one was super duper slow. These are faster a bit. Just wondering if Amisha, what did you mean with the iron oxide? I'm gonna need more paper. More paper. More paper. 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 What is this one? Oh, good. Also cold press. Black, then dripping yellow, then dripping black again. Black. Oh, interesting. I'll try. You mean so the PY1 PY43 with the PBK11? Yeah, we'll try that. That's cool. So yellow ochre is not a very pushy color. It's like, no thank you. Nope, not interested. Not today. Let's try Yellow Sophie in the same spot. Also not interested. Oh, let's try a weird one. So this is Sennelier Caput Mortem. Let's put some of that bully in there. Huh. Really not that impressive, right? It's just like, eh. Nope. Denied. Like, it is pretty, of course, but it's nowhere near as dramatic as the effect of that one. I'm just trying with the different granulating colors just to see. Maybe Caput Mortem is also blue. Maybe. I'm gonna try another black square with a drop of Caput Mortem in it to see if that does anything. Hey, thank you for being here, Okuni. Have a great weekend. Nope, not a bully. Not interested even. Just like, nope. Nope. What about this one? Oh, this one is a bit of a bully. Oh, that's cool. That's PR 168. Hey, Alexandra, hi. The more transparent colors push the others away. I don't know, because Quinn Gold didn't really push anything away. Check out here, it didn't even make like a mark where it dropped in the color, and Quinn Gold is really transparent. So I don't know about that. I'll try with ultramarine blue. I have one in this palette. Oh, I also have Mars Black from Rumenschmall in this palette. I forgot about it. Ready for this? That's pretty cool. Let's try the Rumenschmall Mars Black. Hey, I have a cat friend. Tulipo. Yo. Tulipo.
Hey, boo.
Il est full beau. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, that one is really dark. Oh wow. I thought it was gonna be like much weaker, but damn. Wow. It's definitely stronger than this one. Yeah, Chaz is here. Hold on, can I don't know if I can sort of... So, don't look at the screen for now because I'm gonna mess up with the camera. And if you're sensitive to that, fair warning. I don't think we can see him all that much. He's sleeping in the tulip bed. Okay, I'm moving the camera back to the... right. Yeah, that's the Roman Schmal Mars Black. It is super duper nice, I gotta say. Oh yeah, you're right. The blue sort of took over the yellow here. I was like, nope. I am the boss, not you. You're not the boss of me. Let's try the yellow and this Mars Black from Roman Schmal. Really love Chaz. Chaz is a cat that likes to hang out in our tulip bed. Huh. Still does that sort of flowing effect. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Wee. Let's see if we can get, I don't know if you saw, but if you would look on the first paper, like if you don't use a lot of water with a color like Mars Black or oxide black, it really doesn't granulate that much. But if you use more water with it, that's when it sort of happens more. Hey, welcome back, Anna. So I want to try. Oh, mix the yellow and the black. I think it's gonna be a bit like dusk yellow. So you're gonna have the granulation of the black pigment, but on a yellow background. This is dusk yellow from Van Gogh. I think Rembrandt also have the dusk colors. I think it's kind of funny because Van Gogh is technically the student range and Rembrandt is the professional range, but they have the same colors with the same name, and I'm like, are they really different? So another fun color, hold on. This is the Shinhan neutral tint, I think. And I got it because it's really interesting when it granulates. If I remember right. Otto has posted a really awesome swatching video of all the Shinhan colors yesterday. And I was like, ooh, so many colors are really unique mixes. Hey, thanks for being here, Phoebe. Have a great weekend. Okay, so last bit of testing that I want to do is on hot press. So let's look at Mars Black on hot press paper. Oh, bye, Chaz. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? I think he pounced a. I think he pounced a bird or not like he's not a good hunter. He's just like running after the squirrels and the birds. Under duress? Wait, what? Like, that's already looking pretty cool. it's almost granulating faster than on a cold press. Let's try the other one from Van Gogh. Chaz is a feline crossfitter. He really is in top shape. He's like super svelte and like doesn't carry any extra weight. It's so funny. I had to make that video on the... Oh, yeah! Okay, sorry. It's tough to keep ideas together sometimes. Yeah, definitely. I think that for a video that you were sort of had to improvise and get to it, like, not when you wanted, it doesn't show. I mean, you did a really fine video. And wow, some colors in there. That Davies gray was something else. I was like, what is this color? Let's try undersea green from Archambault. Or no, wait, Aquarius green, I think they call it. Undersea green is the sort of Daniel Smith. I feel like the granulation is more expressive on hot press because it sort of really depends on the movement of your brush. Whereas on cold press, the granulation tends to be a bit more even across the surface because it's being guided by the texture, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's showing up lighter. It might just be that my color was a bit more diluted. Oh my god, Luke, he's chasing your paintbrush. Whee! It was totally under research, but I mean, I don't really expect a swatching video to be the most researched video. Like, if you were doing an in-depth look at certain colors, then I would expect a bit of research. But for swatching a whole range video, I mostly like to see the swatches and get the person's first impression. For stuff like how easy to re-wet it is, if a color, like when you got to the terre verte ones, and you said that this is normal behavior for that paint. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm more interested in when I sit down and look at a swatching video. Oh, I know, I have Vivianite in this palette. It's really sad for me because people pointed out stuff about pigment choices that I would want to be able to point out. Oh, that's a bummer. Oh yes, the Shinhan Indigo is oh, it's so pretty. See, that's one of the things I decluttered a few years ago, and I'm like, wish I had it again. That phthalo green dark too. Whoa. It reminded me of Forest Green from Sennelier. So there's a time for a few more tests, but if there's not anything you really want to see addressed in this video, then I think we can call it a day. Oh, Jill, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy your nap and have a great weekend. You can do a color showdown level of research when you're swatching 140 colors. Yeah, that's another point that makes sense. Ah, these colors, I mean, that's so pretty. I think the only Daniel Smith color I have in this palette is, like I said, Mayan Dark Blue. I'll have to compare maybe with the indigo from Shinhan. I don't have both colors in mind, but it's annoying because this is a fairly unique hue in all of the paints. No one else has that, what, PB82 pigment? That's pretty. To be honest, this kind of reminds me of chromatography. In what way? This was some informative info. Oh, thank you so much, YZ. I'm glad. Here we can sort of maybe bring back interesting things to look at. Alright, so I think that seems to be mostly it for today. I don't know what I'll do about the Primatek live streams that I downloaded. I will, of course, listen to them first and edit them down if need be. But there might not be anything else to discuss in there. Like, we've heard the "but we use massive" thing a billion times, and I don't think we need to hear it anymore. So if I don't find anything interesting in there, it doesn't have to be bad stuff too. I mean, it could be something interesting like dropping a yellow in the black and seeing this pushing out effect. Like, that's the fun thing of painting. We want to learn the fun things, not argue over some stupid nonsense forever. To be honest, I'm over this whole Daniel Smith thing. Yeah, me too, kind of. I gotta say though, the bit about the granulation, that was wow. It was pretty wow. Yeah, I'll see if I find something cool, or some interesting bits of info. I don't know if I will make a live stream out of it, but I might upload the video separately and link it to you guys on the Discord to just get the good bits of the live streams. And yeah. So I'll see if I find more cool stuff. I'll definitely share because that's super fun. And yeah, like I said, if could you discuss in a future video? Are you on the Discord, Laura? Happy May. Oh my gosh, Amisha, what? That sounds awesome. She'll be on Daniel's drama. Oh, I don't know if she will try more palettes like that. I don't think it was a fun video for her in terms of feedback, so I'm not sure she will try that experiment again. Also, I think Shada is due to have her baby soon, so she might be very busy. Hey, Squirrel Bears, I don't think I said hi. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. If you don't know about the Discord, we have a Discord server for the community, and we basically chill out there and talk about all sorts of stuff, from paints to other art-related stuff to pets to more serious topic, and it's a really fun place to hang out. And yeah, Laura, if you want to join it up, that could be a fun place if you want to talk to me about your topic idea a bit more. And I thank every one of you for being here today and taking part in this live stream. Like always, I really appreciate it, and it was really awesome to be able to watch this stuff and talk about this stuff with you guys, since we all like the same stuff, but there's a lot of space for new perspectives to come in, which I think is awesome. I'm still excited, Amisha. I made a comment before the future video question. Wait, what? Can you imagine Shada calling Daniel Smith student grade and have a student? I would do it, because it is not student grade paint. I would try to not talk about the Primatek, but yeah. Anyway, have a great weekend, everyone. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for being here, and thank you everyone for being here, and I hope you have a great weekend. We will see each other next Saturday, or on the Discord, or both. So bye guys, take care.